want to dive into the Coach Knight reunion, and you were kind of an integral part of that, and it was a moment long overdue in my opinion. I know Coach was upset about being let go back in 2000. There was a lot of opportunities to come back. 81 team, 76 team reunion, the recognition, the 87 team, and Coach never came back. How did you guys come together? You, Whitman, all the pillars of Indiana basketball. What went into that to get Coach Knight to come back? And what were your emotions when you were walking out there on the floor and it actually happened?
Well, let's kind of take it in a little sequential.
Yep.
Whitty's the one that actually started it.
Did he?
Whit did. Yeah, because because as you said, all the teams been recognized no show. Okay, all of us, get our little feelings hurt. My feelings hurt. So, come on, man. And we'd all tried, and tried for years to get him to come back.
Right.
I remember the late Bill Cook sent a plane, and I couldn't go because I was I worked for the Pacers during the games, and Scott and Woody went down to see him once to try to get him to come back. He wouldn't do that. They had a plane go down there the whole night. Anyway, Whit had decided he'd done the 81 reunion once, or they recognized it, I think, as the national champion. They may even recognize it as a Big Ten championship. I'm not sure which way they did, but I think it's the national champion first. So he basically said to his wife, Kath, and Whit was on my coaching staff when I was in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I'm not doing this unless Coach goes. So he called Coach and got Karen and said, "Is Coach there?" And then Whit goes through his whole thing, and he talks to Coach. He said, this recognition, hey, I'm not coming if you're not coming. And Coach said, okay. So then it was a matter of trying to manage the process,
right,
and making sure that we handle it in light of the circumstances based on him getting fired.
Right, yeah.
And at that point, what the blessings I had was they're doing something for him with Gene Katie at IU. I mean, at the Pacers. And I know I'm in the Pacers state, okay? So and I'm a trustee, but I was going to always be protective of Coach.
Right.
So then we made sure that it was just players. And I guarantee you, AJ, there were so many people that were trying to get into that and be this and that.
Yeah.
And then Whit, myself, now Scott Dolson, who's the AD, is very much a part of that. And I'm talking to Scott May the whole time because we're 40 plus year friends. I'm making sure because he was with me. We heard about it going to lunch with Coach one day. Coach Karen, I think Bob Hamill, who you know.
Yep, Bob Hamill.
And I think Karen said, Coach is going back. And I'm like, what?
What?
And that's how it kind of came together. Now, as for the emotion, it was highly emotional. There's just no question. It was a highly emotional time. And to your point, and you're as always on point here, it was much needed for Hoosier Nation.
Absolutely.
It was kind of this chasm. And I think all of us kind of felt this in some way, to some degree. How do I support the university without taking off Coach Knight?
Right. Yep. Exactly.
And it took that out of the mix.
You did.
Which I thought was good for everybody. And most importantly, it was good for him to see the appreciation that was given by the student body. When I talked to the university and Dr. McRobbie, and Fred let Scott do it, it was not, they didn't budge. And I had been talking about doing this in some form or fashion. As long as I was going to be on the board of trustees, this was going to be an annual, try for me. So, but I want to make sure people understand, the university was never against it. This was Coach Knight.
Right, yeah, it was all Coach.
Still to this day has a hard time reckoning with the fact that it's not funny.
Yeah, I know it's not funny, but it's funny because it's been so long, man. But we know Coach. We know, like you talked about Larry Bird. Once you cross that line, you know better than anybody who Coach.
Nobody going back. And it's funny because people, I'm gonna kind of go back to this Larry Bird thing. People had asked, could Larry play for Coach? I said, sure he could. They're just alike.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just alike. If you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're good. But anyway, so I think it was good for for all. And Pat was really happy. Pat Knight, who,
Yep.
I want to make sure your listeners understand, his son was very active, involved in this, as was Dr. Rink. But anyway, it was emotional. It really was. It was emotional. It was great for him at this stage of his life because it was Steve Downing and many others, but we all talked about him moving back to Bloomington.
Yeah.
We thought it was important that he be among friends as you get to later stages in life. And he knew people in Lubbock, but people in Bloomington and in Indiana, Lubbock, they like you. Here, they love you. It's a bigger difference. And that's what we were able to see. And I'm as proud of that as I'm not having done it.
Right. Being a part of it.
And is anything I've ever done at Indiana University.
Just like that was another championship move. Like the hell of a team y'all put together to get coach to come back. Everybody executed their part, and coach came back, which is most important.